we're back. Welcome to Letters from the Principal podcast, Season 2, Episode 7, Part 2 of Who Raised You. This is your girl, Mary, and I am very excited to kick it over to Des so she can get us all caught up and we can dive right back in.
So, if you missed Part 1, fuck you. No, just kidding. If you missed Part 1, you missed a lot. We talked about who Crystal Wilkerson is. We talked about the joys of being a baby mom. No, I'm just playing.
Dealing with them.
We talked about dealing with the people that the men bring around your kids and figuring out how to have a common balance and who's really the villain. Is it the man or the woman? Crystal introduced a different dynamic, which was being raised by a grandparent versus a co-parent, a stepmom, a step-parent, but her grandparent. And she also tapped into the tumultuous relationship that her grandmother had with her mom. And how those dynamics led to her not manipulating, but finessing the play to have the best life she wanted. Girl was living her life, okay? She was having it her way. So with that said, I will kick back to Kim so we can take a deep dive into Who Raised You.
Yeah, and I want to say for this episode, we said Who Raised You, but we also, little tidbit here, we had in parentheses the auntie episode, but we haven't talked about any aunties.
I got an auntie.
We haven't talked about any aunties. Which
Nobody
We'll get
got no
there.
cool aunties?
I got a cool
I have a
auntie.
ton of cool aunties, but
that were intricate in your development.
now they are.
Mm.
Now they are.
Okay, but
I mean, they were back then as well.
Yeah, so
like,
maybe you're not done being raised.
yeah, I'm definitely not done being raised. Like, I'm still being raised.
I think we all are.
Yeah, you know.
We're always a work in progress.
I remember it was my oldest aunt who first brought up the conversation about menopause. And
That's another episode.
It is. She asked me a ton of questions about where I was in this stage. I mean, I'm not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
But she was asking me, I've never had this conversation with my mother. I had to go to my mother and ask her, like, hey, when did you, because, you know, you want to know around the
Genetics.
timing.
Yeah.
But my aunt was the one that was telling me, or, you know, okay, you're here. And okay, well, then this will happen for another couple of years. And then you'll do this. And I'm like, why is she telling me this? And I mean, the reason why she was telling me was because when she came up, she said there was nothing to read about it. Right. She's in her 80s. So she was like, there was nothing out there for her as a woman. She's like, I had to go to the library and dig. So at different points of your life, different people step in to help raise you.
I agree.
Right. And I think that's really important. And
yeah,
you know, Crystal, I want to kind of go back to you and talk about this a little bit, because you were even saying that you've been that person.
Yes.
For a lot of your family
I
members.
do have aunts and an uncle as well. Even though, you know, there was some type of a delay there, they were there for me. They was very supportive, loved me, you know, like taught me as much as they could teach me. But for the most part, I was the one providing the support. Still to this day, I am their guardians now. So
wow. Wow. I mean, you know, I think that there are so many people who come into our lives. You know, it's like, even when you know, form friendships with people these days, right? Like some friends become extended family members, right? Absolutely. After periods of time. But aunts, uncles, grandparents, right? Like, this is the concept of it takes a village.
Right.
And I really, really subscribe to that, because I think that you can't be a perfect mom all the time.
Right.
I mean, some people do a really good job. Some people do a really good job.
But I think you also need people like the three of you ladies here are for me in your own ways, to vent to.
Right.
To, you know, share your experiences with and get like feedback or get a perspective.
Right.
So I think even if they're not directly involved. Oh, snap.
Are you?
Yes, I'm bugged. Even
What's
if
happening over there?
Even if it was
falling out of her ears.
Even if they're not, I'm sorry, that's hilarious. Even if they're not directly involved in raising your kids, just talking to you about your own experience helps.
Listening to this.
Nothing.
We thought you were in the podcast.
You just had
I was.
But you
Nothing
had-
was
but you had
playing.
it.
I forgot it was
Yeah,
in.
she had a whole
I do
iPod
believe,
in her
I
ear.
do believe in aunts because like they're just important. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jay has a really good relationship with a couple of my friends. He's actually this is very weird. He's close to my boyfriend's ex-wife. So like
Good.
they have a rapport. Xavier's very close to Crystal. He really doesn't really much or nothing with an adult.
Mm.
Maybe Ernest. And I like that
Mhm.
because you know, like kids need to like even like outside of women, Jermaine is very close with Jay.
Yeah.
You know, so because you like you said, they need to have that person that they could talk to.
just in case.
And that was who my aunt was for me. But my aunt was very different from my mom. My mom was like more so like, I wouldn't say fake refined, but she wanted so bad to be refined.
Mm.
So she had like China, $4,000 square foot house
Mm.
because of where she came from.
Right.
So she did like all the pretentious things to make herself feel better.
Yeah.
Because everyone does that. Whatever you lacked as a kid, you're like, I'm never going to have it. Whether it's 5,000 pairs of shoes, nice car, whatever your trauma was.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like my mom's trauma was like a home and having nice things.
Yeah.
So that she does it. My aunt does it too, but my aunt's always been the realer one in my eyes. Now, mind you, this is just my depiction of life. And that was what my aunt was. I would fly from LA to San Francisco by myself at 6 years old, that every summer. And my aunt said sometimes they would put notes on me, like she wouldn't shut the fuck up, or she wouldn't respond. She was like, it was like however I was feeling for the day. And I would go with my aunt, and she lived in MacArthur Park. And when she lived, it was like the hood. She dated a man who was a postmaster, and we just had like the best summer. And my aunt just kept getting richer and richer as I got older, and I just thought it was great.
Mm.
And my aunt always had a nigga, always had a fly car. She had a Range, she had a Porsche, she had a Benz. Like she was just like the man.
Right.
And she would let me, she'd be like, go outside, ain't nothing gonna happen to you. What
Right.
time you gonna die? You ain't gonna die, does he go? Like she was just so like, just a vibe. And she was an entrepreneur. She always had her own business. If she worked for somebody, it was a very short in time. And I feel like seeing that made me who I am.
Yeah.
Because when people say, oh, my mom, I'm not really like my mom. You just don't know my aunt.
Mm.
Like, I'm not like my mom. My mom did what she could with me, but we never, you know, like, it'd be like, Danielle, we wouldn't really be friends on the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But my
That's real.
aunt,
Right.
that would have been my round.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe because she molded me to be who I am, like I love my aunt. Like everything I am is probably my aunt and my stepdad. And again, that's who raised you. My mom worked at a clinic. She met a man. He was a physician assistant. She told him, look, I got 2 other kids. I got a special needs daughter and I got like a bad child. He was like, bring them on. So she ended up putting my sister in a home because my mom, it really affected her. My mom has a cancer, like Crystal. It really affected my mom seeing how people would look at my sister.
Right.
When my mom would like be in the public. Because my sister had cerebral palsy and mild retardation. So she was amazing. Y'all not going to get me.
Yeah.
She
Breathe.
was amazing. And, you know, she liked drool and stuff. And my mom just didn't like it. She couldn't take, you know. So she sent my sister to a home. And the lady Josie, God bless Josie, took care of my sister. My stepdad married my mom and raised me like his own. My sister, he died. My sister was like 3 or 4. She don't even remember him.
Wow.
But I remember him because he raised me.
Right.
He had he was a physician assistant, but he was always studying, always trying to be an entrepreneur. We lived in big houses. Like he taught me like what lying was, what manipulation was, how to like see if somebody's trying to throw you in a loop, how to study quick, how to negotiate your grades. You get what you negotiate in life.
That's right.
Like you don't really have a C. You could have a B. Go see what that nigga about. Like what you like? Oh, you like fishes. I'm gonna come in there and talk to you about fishes. I don't give a fuck about fishes. I want to be.
Right.
But that's what he taught me. He was a Pisces. Now that I think about it. But he raised me. My dad and mom hated each other so much. It left my stepdad so much room with me because my dad wouldn't come around because he hated my mom.
Wow.
And my dad would always say, you'll see. You did, Vic. But you ain't never lied, Brody. But my stepdad was so just amazing guy. And my sister died in like August. Then he died the next year
Wow.
in
Sheesh.
September. So my mom really was just doing the best she could. Mental health wise, I wouldn't have been able
Right.
Yeah.
To handle that.
to
That's
handle
a lot.
it. When you think
Yeah.
about it as an adult, it's like, damn, Nelly, no, you
That
really
was a
had
lot.
it bad.
Yeah.
That was a lot on her.
But he raised me. He died. He gave me Social Security,
Mm.
and he left me money, and he didn't have to.
Right.
I wasn't his.
Right.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So some people, they have, though, my aunt and my stepdad probably have the biggest impact on who I am as a person, more so than my parents, because those are the people I chose.
Right.
Like, I look like my dad. You get
Right.
me angry, I'm gonna act like my dad. I
Right.
will cut you off and never talk to you again like my dad. But the learned behavior patterns
Mhm.
Right.
probably came from my aunt and my stepdad, because those are my people.
Yeah. I mean, it rings so true for so many of us that we pick up, other characteristics.
Yeah.
My cousin and I joke. My mom was one of 14, but
Mhm.
I have a cousin who we joke about being switched at birth, right? Like, and just sort of like my mom is shorter, my cousin is shorter, and then my cousin is more like my mom in personality, and I'm more like her mom, laid back. So we often say that, right? And it was like all of these adults and all of these influences that you have, I think, in making you who you are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I have a similar situation in some respects to Crystal, where my dad's family was very estranged from my mom.
Mm.
We're gonna really have to block my mom from this show,
We're
Cynthia
blocking
has to get on
everyone.
it.
right? She don't know how to turn on
Right.
her phone. But it was a lot of reasons,
Right.
right? Which that would be 5 episodes if we were gonna get into all of it.
Right.
But I had the delayed relationship with my aunt for sure. They always were like around, and my grandmother.
Mhm.
They were always around, but like my time with them when I was a kid was very, limited by my mom,
Right.
because it was kind of like to that meme you talked about, where it's like, if you won't fuck with me, you can't fuck with my kid. My mother subscribes to that wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
But, there's also a lack of accountability on her end for some of the reasons why they don't fuck with her.
Now, Cynthia,
Right.
you know I
Right.
don't mess with you, dog.
But but once I became, a teenager and was able to kind of move around on my
On
own,
your own.
I was like very close to them. Still, I mean, my grandmother passed away, unfortunately. She was like really my person.
Right.
And my aunt, there have been moments in my adult life where I have been estranged from my mom, right?
Right.
Like today we might be talking actually, but
Right.
tomorrow, who knows?
Who-
So,
But I do
yeah.
have a question.
Yeah.
When those people that your mom felt didn't like her,
Yeah.
right? But you still went around them, did they disparage your mom to you?
No.
And shout
But my
outs to them.
mother would talk
that's
so
your-
much shit about
yeah,
them.
Okay, now maybe
So it
you
was
know, but I'm
confusing
like,
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess, does your mom get a pass because that's your mom and you live in her house, so she can say how she feels about people?
Yes.
Or
She
should
can.
they both just kept it a buck and been above board? Because if you live with me, I'm telling you, your grandma ain't, she don't like that.
Right.
But I don't talk about Kari with my kids.
Right.
I feel like that's the only person I bid a do.
Yeah.
Like I give them a pass.
Yeah.
I don't talk about Kari. And when I'm with my man's kids, I don't talk about my man.
Yeah.
And I don't talk about they mamas.
Yeah.
But if I don't like anybody else,
Yeah.
drag you to hell. It's my house. I'm talking.
And I feel that. But I will say, from a kid's perspective, I would see my mother wilding, right? Like, and there were other things going on between my parents, like
Right.
infidelity and, again, things I'm not understanding as a kid. And when I got older, I look back and I was like, oh, niggas were cheating. Like, so this is why she was calling my grandmother's house over and over and
Right.
hanging up and beeping the horn in front 25 times.
Was your grandma protecting it?
Of course. My dad was the golden boy. And,
Cynthia,
right.
You know what? You could get it too.
Right. But I don't think my grandmother really knew everything that was happening either on her end. So it was just like this crazy bitch. And who knows? Maybe it was crazy insert black bitch.
You said your dad was a Scorpio, right?
Yep.
November?
November 14th.
Scorpio male.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone here is, I got to ask this. This is a little bit left, but everyone here is a mother of a son, right? How
Yes.
do we feel, right? Honestly, you know where I'm going with
I
it.
know where you're going. I hate
How
this
do we
question because I
feel
can't
now?
stand Vashti's ass.
As a mother of a son, and maybe not a son that's dating or in a relationship right now, but as we get older and these our sons will bring a woman home, right? We may befriend the woman and then they're serious. How do we feel about crossing that line? Be honest, because I'm going to say how
Vashti part 2.
that's what I'm
Wow.
I am, for sure I am. I can't stand her because Vashti, you made me feel like we was cool, dog. I thought we was locked in. How I'm on the phone with you at 12 noon and at
Yeah.
5 p.m. I find out he had a baby.
Right.
That's really what broke us.
So
But she
that's
had
the
to be
question
loyal
to
to
her
be
son.
loyal because he
Yeah.
said,
Of
Mom,
course.
don't tell her. But so I feel like if you're not going to tell me he had a baby, then I don't even trust sending my kids for the summer no more.
Right.
Because you're not even going to tell me nothing. He tell you not to tell me.
Crystal, what's your position of this?
I'm very loyal. But I will turn the blind eye. Like, I don't want to know about anything.
So you don't want to know
because
your
I
son and
probably would
Plausible
snitch.
deniability.
you think you would snitch?
I think I
I don't even
would
see you
snitch
getting
on-
close to the girl, though.
Yeah, but due to loyalty, I'll try to keep as much distance as possible because I would feel like shit if I'm playing both sides. And I know, like, my son had a child on you or something like that. Like, yeah,
Okay.
I've experienced a lot of those things, so it's just like I know what that feels like. I don't even want to know about it.
You don't want to know.
Yeah.
Plausible deniability. Mary, what's your position?
So I think, so I'm half Sicilian, so we never go against the family.
Okay.
But behind closed doors, I will absolutely let him
Address
know
your
about
son.
himself.
Yeah.
I would not support him in his shenanigans. But would I jump
Would you
over
go
and
and
tell
go-
the bitch?
okay.
No.
It's
Yeah.
going to depend. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. And this is the truth.
Yeah.
It is, and I've learned a lot. I've dealt with a lot of mothers, right? It is going to depend on my relationship with the woman. I'm going to be like, really, it is. And I'm going to be very straightforward with my son. I'm always going to have his back, right? I'm always going to be his mom. But even in like situations that I'm in now, I never would expect his mother to bring up anything to me at any point. And I
Right.
don't want her to, and I would never ask a mother,
Right.
right? Like,
Yeah.
who your
You can't
son
expect
calling?
her to
Right.
go
Or
against him.
I'm never gonna put her, but you know, she now I'm older, she's older. Well, I'm never gonna put her in that position. But as a mom now, like when it comes to, let's just say Corey does something crazy, right? If I have a relationship with this woman that's separate from him, right? Like
Mhm.
I could just be his mother.
Yeah.
And you could come and drop the kids off and hey girl, hey. But if we kiki in and we go to lunch together and we have a relationship
Yeah.
that's independent
Right.
of my son, then I may
Mhm.
be that meddling mom
Right.
that tells you what it is so you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. It just
So
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it. Sorry,
Going-
Corey. I'm gonna be like, Corey, you should did it. I told you to tell her last week. You didn't. I
Yeah.
gave you a week.
This
I
is
gave you a week
why
to
I
tell
would
her.
just probably turn the blind
rather
eye.
not know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want
yeah.
to know
Yeah.
because it's going to be hard.
No,
because
I'm gonna tell
you're
my
still
son.
a woman first.
I'm
Right.
a woman. I'm gonna tell him. I'm like, you got two. I'm gonna give you 2 weeks to tell this woman that you had a baby on her.
But you
And
know,
if I'm close to her,
that's hilarious.
2 weeks, I'm gonna tell her.
Yeah. Well, at least you give him some time.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him some time. I'm gonna give him some time to tell her.
Yeah. Well, going in a different direction with that, though, I also share feelings that Des has said she had with her ex-husband's mother, with my daughter's father's mother,
Right.
right? Not about cheating,
Right.
even though, well, you'll leave that there. Not about cheating, but more about making him be a man and stepping up, right? We were really young, granted, when we
Right.
had Bree. And look, we're in a good place now, like, you know,
Right.
water under the bridge, whatever. Bree's grown. All right, cool.
Right.
But I did feel like her as a woman kind of should have pushed him to be more involved or
Right.
more, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, again, I don't know how much she knew,
Right.
but he lived with her. And, you know when the kid is there and when they're not. And you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And she and I would have those kind of conversations. We used to have a really great relationship.
Right.
And then it was like, okay, and you're okay with how this is all going. Like,
Right.
I'm doing everything, you know?
Right.
So, like, that's another, I think, situation when it comes to being a boy mom where, like, we tend to coddle our boys so much, especially minority mothers, I think,
Yes.
that, you know, they don't leave the nest or they just are able to not really grow up or be men fully because they know that mama got them, you know?
So here's a story. After my divorce, right? Remember I told you I had 2 baby daddies, right?
Right. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. You know, it was an ugly divorce. It was horrible. But I actually had a conversation with my oldest daughter's grandmother.
Mhm.
And I took it upon myself, right? And this is not from my divorce, right? This is my first the first guy I was with that I had a kid with, right? First baby daddy. My ex-husband is the second baby daddy. But I had a conversation with his mom. We were just talking about something and I said, "You know what? I want to tell you something." And I said, I want to say, because she's had issues with things that maybe he didn't step up and do, right? I said, I want to say that when it comes to your son, and this is years, we've been broken up for 20 years. I said, you did an excellent job of raising a man who has respect for women. And that came out of me looking at the breakup I had in my divorce and then kind of like reflecting. It's like a therapy moment when you're like reflecting on, well, was I always a crazy bitch? I wasn't always a crazy bitch because when I broke up with this one's father, this didn't happen, right? And it's like this moment of realization where you're like, no, the reason why I didn't become a crazy lunatic was because when we broke up, the respect level that he had for me as a woman, right, was never, her son never raised his voice to me, right? Never, there was never any physical anything if we had any sort of argument. And I had to say to her, as a mother, I gave her that credit and she thanked me.
Because it came from somewhere.
Right.
And and that's how I felt. As I got older, I started to think about, you know, where do these men get off when you break up with them and they act crazy? You know, I always say, you don't know somebody till you divorce them, right? So when they break up and they go crazy on you, where did this come? And you got, sometimes you got to go back to that person's mama.
Yeah.
Which is why I say for us having sons, right? And this is why Corey has 2 weeks to tell this woman if he got a side pregnant.
Right.
Corey, I'll kill you. Better not right now. He's only 15.
Right. Let's not manifest this.
15 years from now, right?
Yeah.
You got 2 weeks. And then I'm stepping in. Because I'm not going to let you
dog this
person
out.
I'm not going to do it as a mother.
You know?
Right.
Especially if I have a relationship with her. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And I do feel like sometimes the mothers, the grandmothers have that responsibility to tell their son or check your son.
Yeah. I agree.
Now that I'm older, I'm very understanding to the point where it's just like, why are you so understanding? But like just thinking about experiences that I've had with my daughter's father growing up, and you know, he was horrible, but I don't blame the mom now because I feel like you never know what place in her life she was in. You know, maybe she was going through things in her own marriage that kind of like tuned her out, you know, from actually being a good parent to her children. So it's just like, you know, I don't blame her. I'm not in that space anymore. I guess this comes from like a healed space. It's just like, you don't even matter, you know, but I get it. That just wasn't your place at the moment. You know, you didn't give a shit about what your son was doing with his girl and his kid. It's just like, I'm glad that I'm not there in that space anymore. And I guess that's where this comes from, that understanding. Because it's just like, now I see a bigger picture. Like, it's like, okay, she wasn't just saying fuck me and like dog her. It was just like, I wasn't on her mind at the time. Like, she was going through her own shit. So
and that's understandable. It comes
from a place of.
But if you're coming to eat with me at lunch, and we keying, and I come up to your house, and you got the tea out and the coffee out, don't, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you owe me a bit of respect.
Yeah.
Every relationship,
Absolutely.
I don't care.
Speak to me.
Or don't speak to me.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm not asking you to go against your son as a woman, right? But then don't talk to me. On a
it's
personal
not that.
level.
It's not what you
surface level talk is cool. If we talk, hey, how you doing? That respect. I'm talking about keying.
Yeah.
Whatever the definition
now
is.
I care about you.
Now we have our own independent relationship. When we start to key, now
I'm owed some loyalty.
Some loyalty too. Not, you know, you don't have to throw him completely under the bus. You don't got to tell me where the woman lives. Right?
Throw me a little hint.
But you got to put me up on game.
But that was my point with because we keyed.
Right.
We keyed down.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, but that's even now with me and his issues. I feel like you get involved when me and my husband was back together. He, I just be telling all my business on the podcast, but hopefully help somebody.
Right.
Listen,
we out here.
When we was together, his mom would call me and say, make sure he sends because she broke, she need help, she da-da-da-da. Now she telling me, that's your business.
Right.
I want them same fucking dollars.
Yeah.
Then
y'all was
send me
keying.
me money in 12 months. You watch this, I ain't lying. He talking about get it with the courts. So this nigga ain't sending me no money. I got 2 big boys. Why you ain't calling him and whoever he with saying get that lady her money?
Are you sure she's not?
I'm sure she not. Because this is the thing.
Because that's the question.
I have the ability to make a nigga mad to where you hate me. So when he was doing his thing and we was breaking up and she was trying to make my kids feel bad, I called her and said, oh, shut the fuck up. Your son is a drunk. You're not trying, like, I talk you down. So I got her to her socks. She probably hoping we in a soup line.
Changed.
Not the soup line.
Yeah. She probably hoping we in a soup line, but it's like, when I'm good to you, I'm good to you. I was good to my husband. I was good to his daughter. They can attest.
Yeah.
Good to his mom. I'ma fly you out. I'ma send money. I'm buying school clothes for the whole season. That girl got 5 kids in her house. 4, something. Sorry.
3, 2, 1.
Something. Somebody else is wearing all that stuff up.
Right.
I'm sure she was able to give it. She had another daughter right after her. When I'm good, I'm good. Send my kids $20 fucking for the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
Right.
You not sending me nothing?
Yeah.
No, that's just wow.
No, and I was in that position too where Bree's grandmother actually had begged me to not get the courts involved. And out of respect for her, I didn't. And truthfully, one of my life's regrets, like if you're listening out there, take that dude for child support.
You think?
I do.
Oh,
and
I'm
I'll
in
tell
child
you.
support court right now.
Yeah.
I don't care if you give me $25.
Yikes.
They're going to take your fucking license, bro.
Yeah.
Sit the fuck down.
No.
You think you're going out the country with that girl? No, you're not. Because I don't care if it's $5. You're going to have to stand on business with me and mine.
Yeah.
Because it's not about money. I get my own money. I've always been a self-made bitch. So if you think I need $1 from a nigga or a nigga told you I needed $1 from him, I don't.
Right.
Okay? I'll get it from my dad. But when it goes from my kids, the first time me and divorced, I was a cool baby mom.
Right.
It's okay. You don't have to give me nothing. Just take your kids every summer. I'll beg you for $200 because I just want to be cool with you. The way he handled me this last time, the white man is involved. It's me, you, and the white man. We are in a menage.
I don't have experience with that, but I always felt like it wasn't really about, you know how I am.
Well, wait, why don't you have experience with that?
I've never taken anyone to court for child support.
Willingly provide for you?
No.
So you just let them go
to not get your money?
Same.
I just didn't want to.
You never went to
system. I didn't want to deal.
I know.
So why are y'all trying to be cool ass bitches to niggas who ain't trying to be cool ass bitches?
It's not trying to be cool to them. It's about the headache.
I'm like, Kim getting mad.
Yeah, no. It's not.
No, because I really want to have this conversation. So there's somebody out there watching. There's somebody who's like me, and there's somebody like her. And I really want to get to it because the first time I was like, fuck him, he ain't got shit. I don't want it. But now you're gonna be responsible, nigga. You are gonna be responsible for these kids.
I don't know if it was like pride, or it was just like at the end of the day, I'm gonna get it done regardless. So
right. It was a lot of that for me, but it also was that conversation with his mama, which to this day I'm hearing in my head, and I'm like, why? Also, what I will say is it would have made my relationship with him better because a lot of our fights and my bitterness and whatever. Yes.
Resentment.
I was doing it all. And then also even with the visitation, he would just want to show up for birthday parties and stuff and not having contributed a dime. You know, these kids' parties be G's.
Yeah. And I would feel better when the white man tells him what to pay, gives me that back pay. And then we can be friends.
Right. You won't have that resentment. Wow, and also, I don't know if you know this. Well, listen, it also plays into college. I have a friend who did not take her baby daddy for child support till her daughter started college because she was like, you know what? This is a fucking crazy bill. This dude gonna have to pony up now. You know? And then they hit him for everything.
I mean, more power to you for having that strength and going through it. I think that
I didn't, so not me.
Well, I'm just saying, more power to whoever's listening that is able to do that. My peace is so
important. It is
to me.
A part of me, I guess, felt the same way.
It was the piece of headache. I could not deal with that. I am too busy. I have a lot going on. I feel like, and then I always looked at it like, what you gonna get?
Right.
$40 a month. So I never went that route. And I will say,
right. I thought all those things. And I also
divorce, I'll say this.
Yeah.
We did a custody agreement in the divorce. And when we had to enforce it, oh my God. So here's the thing. If you don't follow the custody agreement, let's say you have Tuesdays and Thursdays and you got to pick them up at this time and they don't want to pick them up or whatever the case may be. to enforce that, you have to call the police, right? And you tell them like, oh, he's supposed to be with him.
Wow.
It doesn't. It's crazy.
Yeah, not good for the kids either.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
for the
having
kids.
the cops involved.
Then they get to the point where if you have like restraining orders, you've got to go. You drop them off now at the police. This is so traumatic for the kids. So it's really, but like, listen, you don't come get them on Tuesday. You don't come get them on Tuesday. If you want to, where do the kids want to go? And that's what the cops will do. They come in the house and they'll look at the kid and say, do you want to go with dad?
Wow.
And they give the kid the option. So if the kid says, I don't want to go.
Was that your experience?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It was the worst thing I did was have a damn custody agreement.
Okay.
Because I was like, and we never followed it.
Yeah.
And then when we just, when we decided like, hey, let's follow it this, I want to do this on Christmas this year. Well, it's my year. Oh, no, it's not. This paper says this. When it got to that point, now we're fighting with police.
Yeah.
It's
ugly. Well,
ugly.
see, holidays used to be a thing. So now hearing this makes me feel like, okay, well, it sucks no matter what. Because I also felt like we really needed to get visitation figured out because he used to like pop up like Batman. He'd never tell you when he was coming.
Right.
And then if he just showed up at my door, he'd be pissed because I wasn't there. And it's like, did we agree on this day and time? I don't know. I think in those days he felt like, A, maybe he just has poor time management, no offense.
Right.
But B, I think he really felt like entitled. Like, I have a kid with you, so you just need, I should be able to pop up whenever. Then I started dating someone else who eventually became my husband. And truthfully, that was another point I wanted to make. I think me having a husband who picked up the slack made it where I just sort of threw my hands up and said, whatever.
Yeah. And listen, I mean,
which wasn't fair to him,
no,
my
if
husband.
we really given advice, and if we're gonna be really real, right? A lot of times the courts and the authorities, it just is very traumatic for the kids, and there's no progress. But if you cut that zero and get with a hero, and they step in, and this baby,
they'll get their ass
come
together.
in.
Now that's where my pride comes in.
That's when stepdaddy comes in and starts to do what they don't do.
True. I can't.
That's when you start seeing them step up.
No, I get it now.
Ego
I will
is what
say,
drives it.
Ego does drive it, but I really don't mesh the two. My man did pay for Crespi. Shout out to Booby. He did pay this Crespi tuition bill. But I don't really like
you don't want to do that.
I don't like a man to feel like he got to do for my kids because we ain't no charity case. And that's where the pride.
Yeah.
Now,
you got to do
because I'm like, please do for us.
Now you got to do for You got to do for Listen,
for the poor.
It's a package deal. It's a package
I don't
deal
got
here.
I don't got
If
it.
you come in
for the poor, please do.
I know
us.
what a good hair makeup does for me. I know how it's a package deal.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. So please
to this
come
day,
in
like,
and
Right.
rescue us.
You got more bills to pay.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
I'm a broke bitch.
I know.
Whatever.
Right.
But I don't want to pay nothing.
No.
That's just not.
I know. What's sad is
That's not what I
my
want.
daughter's the same way. Like, when I was a single mother for a couple years with Bree, but I started dating, my now husband when she was really, really small. But I always made it very clear, like, we are a package deal.
Yes.
You're going to have to take care of both of us. Like, I remember.
How cute she is.
I know, right?
We come
Exactly.
together, like,
Yeah. We were going, I remember like his whole family was going to DR, and one of his cousins was like, oh, why don't you guys come? And I was like, well, Bree has to come. And he was like, oh, of course. And, and that was kind of when I knew he was a keeper, when like he flew us both out. Right.
Right.
But she definitely
Start this early.
has, like, she be hitting his card. He don't even be knowing. It's like really sad.
Listen.
I'm like, I really created a
I'll
monster.
tell you, I got one over. I told you the story of how a certain person won me over. We went to dinner, and he said, first time we went to dinner.
What do your kids
He
want?
said, what are you gonna order for your kids?
And Kim trying to be modest, like, oh, no,
said,
that's
"No,
not
nothing."
necessary.
I said,
What?
oh,
I know.
They like
Alms for the
crab,
poor,
he
Kim.
want shrimp.
he won. That's right. My
Calamari.
kids were calling for putting the Philippe Chow order in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is great, right?
Yeah.
Because you understand
We're a
in
package.
this
Yeah.
where, and my kids are older, so I really wasn't trying to bring them food home.
Right,
but
right.
the
It's different.
thought of your thinking about the kids as well.
Yeah.
And you're thinking about me on a level, where it's like, I don't just enjoy you now, but when you leave me,
Right.
I want you to be okay
Yeah.
when you leave me.
No,
when
that's
you go
very
home,
symbolic. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want you to worry about anything.
Yeah.
I want you to have a good night and then go home and not have to worry. Because when I go home, I got these damn kids.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're going to be hungry.
Yeah.
I know. So
And they
this
like
is
expensive restaurants.
this is probably another episode, but the point that you're raising is such a good one because I feel like when you are dating as a mother,
Mhm.
and yes, we are all boss bitches, we're all prideful, whatever. But like for me, I knew it was all of my bums came before because I knew that like it was no longer an option. Like if you're not coming in and able to enhance the situation
Right.
and uplift us, then
As
I
a family,
I
like-
cannot be dating you seriously. Like that's
No.
you know what I mean? Because
Yes.
but some of my friends disagree with that and they're like, well, it's not about money and blah. No, like for me, that would have been a
It's not
requirement.
about money, but this is your life. We're talking
Yeah, it's
Right.
your life. Yeah.
You've gotta be able to help.
comfortability, Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You're
I've
not
already
gonna-
proven
yeah.
myself as a professional
Right.
who can make money, and I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to work anymore.
Right.
How about that? I
Yes.
don't want to go
Yeah.
to work.
Right. What was
This
that
is
White Lotus
hard.
meme
I
that
go
was like,
because
at
I
this
want
point in my
to.
life?
Right. Like
Yeah.
I've
I
already,
cannot be uncomfortable.
those rules about women don't want you to take care of them. They don't
Yeah.
apply to me.
Right.
Mhm.
They don't, because I got 30 years in of like really taking care of stuff. I got this to show for it, that to show for it. I don't
Yeah.
want
Right.
to go to work.
I know what I
We're
can
gold
do.
diggers, guys. That's what we're saying.
We have crossed the threshold
I'm so
of
fine
that.
with, like,
I am
Right.
looking.
Whatever.
Call me whatever you
Right.
want.
Because at the end of the day, if he was gone, you can handle it on your
Right.
own.
Yeah.
I
guess
could,
that's
but you're
what-
not
yeah.
gone.
Right.
Right.
That's
If-
why you feel like
if
that,
you're
'cause it's
here,
not
you
'cause
better
I
help.
Need you. Right. It's
Yeah.
not because I need you. It's just like
No, I need
I've,
you.
I've put in my bid already. Like I don't
I
want to
did it already. Right.
Yeah.
I need you to
Yeah.
handle this. So
No,
like
no.
that's the best situation I've had is the guy that says send me the bill.
Yeah.
Hands down.
And on that note, who raised them? Because
Right. Shout out to their moms.
Right? Exactly.
a man's man.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, before we get up out of here, because hard to believe our time is up, Crystal, tell people where they can follow you, the salon, all that good stuff.
You can follow my salon page at the hair loft _by_ K Styles. And you can follow my personal page. It's K Styles _.
Dope. I'm already following, so
Yeah, get in the field.
yes. Well, that wraps up today's episode. Time out. Are we doing the next one?
Is Emerald here? Okay. All right.
I know, a part of me.
I know.
Anyway, okay. So that wraps up Who Raised You, but y'all better come back for our next episode, episode 8, My Kid is the Bully. Is my kid the bully? I don't know. I got to think about it. Y'all have to tune in next time to see.